We, the jury, find the defendant Blaise Allen Taylor for count 1, guilty of second-degree murder. For count 2, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. For count 3, guilty of first-degree felony murder during the commission of a felony. For count 4, guilty of first-degree felony murder during the commission of a felony.
February 25th, 2023, Nashville, Tennessee. Jade Benning was 5 months pregnant. She was excited. She had already picked a name for her daughter, Ivy. She had been going to her OB/GYN appointments, preparing her apartment, building a life for this baby she already loved. That evening, she planned something sweet. She invited friends over to her apartment. They were going to cook dinner together and paint canvases to hang in the baby's room. The man she had been seeing, Blaise Taylor, was there too. At some point during the evening, Jade picked up her drink. Pink lemonade. She took a sip. Something tasted off. She called her best friend. While on the phone, her friend heard her say something to Blaise that would later echo through an entire courtroom.
Then I heard her say, "Blaise, you're scaring me." And he was like, "You're scaring me." And she was like, "I know you put something in my drink."
I know you put something in my drink because I can't even walk straight. And then, you did this so something would happen to the baby. By the time the ambulance arrived, Jade Benning was clinically dead. Her daughter Ivy died 2 days later. Jade was taken off life support 1 week after that night. The date was March 6th, 2023, her 25th birthday. Welcome to the True Crime Room. We're talking about Jade Benning and the man who sat across from her at a dinner table and poisoned her drink. Before we talk about what happened to her, I want you to know who she was. Jade Benning had moved to Nashville in 2022 to work as a chef. By every account from the people who loved her, she was radiant, full of life, excited about her future. When she found out she was pregnant, she stopped drinking entirely. She attended every OB/GYN appointment. She learned she was having a girl. She had already named her Ivy. She was building something, a life, a family, a future for herself and her daughter. She deserved to see it. Blaise Taylor, 30, looked like a success story. He grew up in Waco, Texas, the son of a Division I football coach. He played as a defensive back at Arkansas State University from 2014 to 2018. After graduation, he landed a job as a scout for the Tennessee Titans. Former college athlete, NFL scout, coaching family background. By all appearances, a man on his way up. Jade met him on the dating app Hinge in January 2022. Their relationship was casual. They weren't officially together, but they were seeing each other. And then in the fall of 2022, everything changed. At the end of September 2022, Jade thought she might be pregnant. On November 4th, she confirmed it, and she told Blaise the child was his. He did not take it well. He did not want the baby. He made that clear. He wanted her to have an abortion. Jade said no. In a text to a close friend, she wrote, "I'm going to tell him today that I'm not having the abortion, so he can just get it out of his head." She offered him a way out. She told him he didn't have to be involved, that she would raise the baby on her own, that he could walk away completely. Then on December 31st, 2022, he reached out to Jade again. On January 1st, 2023, they met at a park and talked for hours. They agreed to co-parent, to get to know each other better. To the outside world, it looked like he was coming around. He wasn't. Here's a detail from this case that I need you to sit with. During the trial, a former girlfriend of Blaise Taylor's took the stand. She testified about a conversation she had with him before Jade's death. She said Blaise had discussed putting something in another woman's drink, a different woman, one who was also refusing to have an abortion. She said she had to talk him out of it. Let that sink in. This was not an impulse. This was not a moment of desperation. Prosecutors argued this was a pattern of thinking. A man who, when faced with an unwanted pregnancy, considered poisoning the woman carrying his child as a solution. And with Jade, no one talked him out of it. The evening started warmly. Friends were there. They were going to paint canvases for Ivy's nursery. It was exactly the kind of evening you plan when you're 5 months pregnant and building towards something. Jade was not drinking alcohol. She had stopped when she found out she was pregnant. She was being careful, protective of her daughter. Her drink that night was pink lemonade. Prosecutors say that at some point during the evening, Blaise Taylor dissolved cocaine in alcohol and put it into Jade's pink lemonade. The concentration of cocaine found in Jade's blood was the highest the medical examiner's office had ever seen. It was far more than could be accounted for by any recreational use. She had orally ingested cocaine dissolved in liquid. She had no idea it was there. At some point, Jade called her best friend, Nijaya Jackson. Nijaya testified that while on the phone, she could hear Jade talking to Blaise. She heard Jade say she knew her drink tasted funny, that she couldn't walk straight.
And as I was walking back to my car, I get a phone call from Jade, and I answered it, and I was like, hello? Just normal. And she immediately starts saying, what did you do? What did you put in my drink? Then I heard her say, Blaise, you're scaring me. And he was like, you're scaring me. And she was like, I know you put something in my drink. She's like, I knew my drink tasted funny. And she was asking him to empty his pockets. And she was like, let me see what's in your pockets. Let me see. And he was like, I don't have anything. So this whole time I'm like, Jade, like trying to get a response from her. So because I didn't get a response from her, I texted her and I was like, are you talking to me? What's going on? And then she was like, I know you put something in my drink because I can't even walk straight.
Blaise called 911. He told the dispatcher that Jade appeared to be having an allergic reaction to food. The dispatcher asked about typical symptoms: swelling, rash, hives, redness. He said she had none of those.
I don't know, we got cookies and pasta. I don't know what she's done, if she's done anything today or anything, but everything was fine, and then I don't know what's happening. She got out of mouth and she said.
What she had was cocaine in her blood at a level no one in that medical examiner's office had ever seen before. She was unresponsive, face down, fluid around her mouth, in cardiac arrest. When paramedics arrived, Blaise Taylor appeared frantic. He tried to move Jade's body, interfering with their ability to treat her. She was clinically dead before the ambulance reached the hospital. 2 days later, February 27th, 2023, her unborn daughter Ivy died. Jade held on. For days she lay in the ICU. Her mother, Bridget Burks, sat and waited. They had talked every day. Jade was her entire life. On March 6th, 2023, Jade Benning was taken off life support. It was her 25th birthday. After Jade's death, Blaise Taylor did not stay in Nashville. He left. He took a job as a senior defensive analyst at Utah State University. Then he was hired as a defensive analyst at Texas A&M. He was arrested less than a week after being hired at Texas A&M. March 2024, Metro Nashville police came for him in Logan, Utah. He was brought back to Nashville to face 4 counts. 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of felony murder. He pleaded not guilty. The trial began June 22, 2026, more than 3 years after Jade's death. 8 days of testimony. The 911 call was played in court. The jury heard Blaise tell the dispatcher he believed Jade was having an allergic reaction to food, while describing 0 symptoms consistent with an allergic reaction. Nijaya Jackson testified about the phone call, about hearing Jade's voice, about those words she said to Blaise before she lost consciousness. I know you put something in my drink because I can't even walk straight. Jade's texts were shown to the jury. Her messages to friends about Blaise not wanting the baby. her decision to keep Ivy regardless, her attempt to give him an out he refused to take gracefully. The former girlfriend testified about the conversation, about Blaise discussing putting something in another woman's drink. The forensic toxicologist testified about the cocaine levels in Jade's blood, the highest that office had ever recorded, levels that could not be explained by recreational use. The defense argued Jade had a history of substance use. They argued the medical examiner could not conclusively determine cause of death. They argued the timeline was too tight for premeditation. The prosecution responded simply. Jade Benning did not want to harm herself or her baby. She had stopped drinking the moment she found out she was pregnant. She was 5 months along. She was painting canvases for her daughter's nursery. The jury deliberated for 2 hours, guilty on all 4 counts. Second-degree murder for Jade, first-degree premeditated murder for Ivy, 2 counts of felony murder. The jury recommended life in prison, July 1st, 2026. When the verdict was read, Jade's family hugged and cried inside the courtroom. Her father, Dennis Browning, spoke to reporters outside. Definitely glad everything is over and justice is served. Her mother, Bridget Burke, spoke about what life has been like without her daughter. It's just a void that will always be there. Most of the time people ask, "Are you okay?" I say yes, but behind closed doors, I'm not. Blaise Taylor will be formally sentenced on September 9th, 2026. Jade Benning moved to Nashville to build something, a career as a chef, a life in a city that excited her. And when she found out she was having a daughter, she didn't hesitate. She stopped drinking. She went to every appointment. She named her Ivy. She planned a nursery. She did everything right. She trusted the wrong person. On the last night of her life, she was surrounded by friends, painting canvases for her baby's room. And the man sitting across from her had already decided she wasn't going to make it to the hospital. She figured it out. She said it out loud with her last coherent breath. "I know you put something in my drink." She knew, and she still didn't make it. Jade Benning was 25 years old. Her daughter Ivy never got to be born. Blaise Taylor will spend the rest of his life in prison. Justice was served, but Jade's mother is right. The void doesn't go away. This was Jade's story, and it deserved to be told. If you're new to the True Crime Room, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if there's a case you think belongs in this room, drop it in the comments. I'll see you next time.